Hi folks, it's Sherry with Red Apple Auctions. Again, I am on location. I happen to be in Martha's Vineyard again, the same place I was 2 weeks ago when I shot the last video. However, I did not stay up here for a nice 2-week vacation. It's a little too pricey for those nightly hotel rooms for me to stay here for 2 weeks, but I was in Florida in their interim, and I just happened to be back here on the day that my newsletter is released, so I'm shooting this video on location at this cute little bed and breakfast before I leave for the airport. Today's video is going to be pretty succinct. I'm talking about the older your population of guests, the earlier they're going to arrive, and you need to adapt your timeline for that. Case in point, earlier this year, I was working in Florida for a senior center. They had the doors open officially at 6 p.m. Guests were lined up to get in by 5:30. It's a senior center. Maybe it's no big surprise that they've got a population of guests, donors that skew older, right? But even last night, hospice organization here on the island, they had a great event. I think it hit another record, certainly in the appeal it did. And that group too, I would say, skews more on the senior side. They have some younger folks, but generally skews more on the senior side. And guess what? I was at home, well, not home. I was here at the bed and breakfast in bed by 9:30. I mean, that doesn't even happen at home, right? Rarely, usually I'm getting rolling in at home after a school auction at like 11:30 at night. Now, granted, I tend to be one of the last people to leave, saying thank yous and kind of wrapping up everything. And I did that last night too, but even so, I was still here by 9:30. Unbelievable to me. So that group skewed or older, and of course, they started earlier because of that. Now, I'm a big fan of always kind of having your fundraising as much as you can earlier in the program, just to make sure that you're capturing people before they might leave. But just as you're thinking about your guests, maybe you need to be having your timeline run a little bit earlier as well. Now, in contrast, I work with a lot of school auctions, particularly in the spring. There's an auction I worked last December, high school auction. They offer an incentive to get their guests to arrive by 7 p.m. They have to reward and tempt and tease and cajole their guests to get there by 7 p.m. So they offer I think it was a jewelry piece. If you arrived by at least 7 p.m., then you were able to go ahead and get entered into this drawing for the jewelry piece. Just keep in mind with your timeline, if you're working with a different organization and then maybe you change jobs, change volunteer roles, and you're with a new group now, think about who their population of donors are. If they skew on the senior side, you might want to start your timeline earlier than what you traditionally have. It's just something to keep in your back of your mind that might be overlooked, because I know that even amongst my client base, sometimes it's like, oh good, we got a timeline, we can generally use this for another group. No, not always. You got to think about who your donors are, who your guests are, and plan accordingly. If you find these videos helpful, subscribe, like, share. I would appreciate it. I'm Sherry with Red Apple Auctions. As always, good luck to you in your fundraising event. Bye.